Yo, RTV, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Reality TV Podcast. I'm Rich Amani, getting as Pretty Boy Rory, and it's a solo ep today. But I won't lie, I'm not even in the mood for today's solo ep. After this weekend of, you know what, we'll get into it. We'll get into why I'm not in the mood for this ep, because I'm not even looking forward to the ep that we're going to be recording this weekend with Vivid, bruh. I am not. After this weekend, I am not looking forward to it. But you know, as per the usual, just like how we start every single episode, playlist of the week, what have I been listening to this week? And I won't lie, I haven't been listening to much this week, to be honest. It's only been some West Side Gun. I've been listening to Hitler Wears MA7. I've been listening to also Hitler Wears MA8. I've been listening to Sade 2. I've been listening to Lovers Rock, just like the previous week. I've been listening to Earl Sweatshirt 2. I've been listening to that album called Live, Laugh, Laugh. Oh my word. I love that album so much. It's such a fantastic album, you know. It's such an incredible album. It feels like such a refined album from Earl Sweatshirt. It feels very complete. I won't lie. It feels like a well-rounded performance. He scored a hat-trick. He does a hat-trick on us on that album, and it's like a really perfect performance. It's a 10 out of 10. It's a 5-star performance in my eyes from Earl Sweatshirt with that album Live, Laugh and Love. Action Bronson too. Oh my word, he just released an album right now called Planet Frog. And Planet Frog, okay, I won't give you guys my album review yet because I've only been listening to the album for like 3 days. It's 3 days now. I'm recording this on Monday. I've only been listening to the album for like 3 days, so I don't think it would be right for me to give you guys a full review and say, oh, this album is this album is that, yet, because I haven't been listening to it enough, even though that's all I've been listening to. But I don't think it would be right for me to give you guys an album review from an album that I've just been listening to for like 3 days. Is it a good album? It's a good album. I like it, you know, but I feel as if I can pick out more things the more I listen to it. So I'm not gonna do that yet. But yeah, Planet Frog, I've been waiting for that album. We didn't get an album from him last year, and the previous year we had like Splash, Provocative, Baklava, something like that, and I loved that album so much. I was actually listening to that album on the lead up to this album releasing last week. So I loved that album. I loved Splash, Baklava. I thought it was such an incredible album. Mind you, I think that was my first full album that I'd listened to from Action Bronson. Before, I hadn't really listened to any of his music like that. I heard of him. I've known of him. I know like he had a feature with West Side Gun, and I think that feature with West Side Gun was the reason why I started listening to that album, that Splash Provocative album that came out in 2024. That feature with West Side Gun, I forgot which album is it. I think it's Fly God. Or is it Fly God is an Awesome God? No, it's Fly God. On that album, Fly God, with the red cover, he's got a feature with West Side Gun on a song called Dudley Boys, and that song is incredible. So from there, I started listening to Action Bronson. I was like, hey, let me get into this guy's discography and go into, his albums. And I love his albums. I love his album covers. I love that his album covers are paintings that he has done himself. You know, I think from a certain point he started painting his own album covers, and I found that so cool. And I was like, you know what, this guy, if he's not careful, he might be one of my favorite artists, bro. And you know what, lo and behold, 2026, we are here. He is one of my favorite artists. I think that Action Bronson has like, I really love his delivery. I love the subject matter that he talks about. It's just random things. He talks about wrestling. He talks about football. He talks about just MMA stuff, like, you know, mixed martial arts stuff. Like, he put people in a gorilla choke and a scissor hold. Like, bro, who do you hear that's rapping like that? You know? I think that's one of the reasons why I started liking his music so much, because the subject matter that he's rapping about, like, yes, there's some deeply personal things there where he's talking about his kid, his wife, and all of those things. But like the randomness of his bars is what attracted me to Action Bronson's music. And I won't lie, in this new album, I said I wasn't going to give you a review, and he still continues that randomness. You know, he still continues that randomness. so far I only know, not that I only know, but like I can only remember one song, the name of one song, which is Mandem, and I love that song. That's my favorite song on the album already. It's featuring this guy called Mayhem, and on that album, I think he's got the best feature. He's for sure got the best feature. It's a bit windy right now. That's why I moved from that spot that we were in the previous episode, because it's really cold there. Here at least I'm getting a bit of sunlight. I know I'm going on a tangent, but like I'm just explaining what's happening right now. It's a bit windy, so I hope that it doesn't interrupt the mic or anything like that. But yeah, like I was saying, Action Bronson, this album, Planet Frog, the album cover, I really love the album cover. Again, it's another painted album cover for this album. And you know, before the release of this album, before the release of the actual album cover, he trolled us with an AI version of the album cover of the album for Planet Frog. And I won't lie, that album cover was trash, bro. That AI album cover was so trash, bro. And we were trashing on it. People were trashing on it in the comments when he announced it. He was like, yeah, this is the official album cover. And clearly he was trolling, because literally the very next day, he released the actual album cover of the album, and I love the album cover. Album covers are so important to the album, you know. It's the first thing that you see before you listen to the album, and I feel as if artists should take more pride in their album covers. And I'm glad that Action Bronson is a person who takes a lot of pride in the album covers that he releases. I'm so happy, because like this, if you really think about it, this guy's painting his own album covers. He's doing his own paintings. So he's not only recording the music, he's not only making incredible music for you, but he's also adding an artistic twist to it by making his own album covers. He doesn't even require anyone, a graphic designer or anything like this. He makes the album covers himself. You know, and I feel as if artists should take a lot of pride in their album covers. I think we said it in the previous episode, or like two episodes ago, or maybe even 3 episodes ago. We were talking about album covers and how album covers should be like an art piece, just like how Mike and Earl Sweatshirt released their collab album, and their album cover is like, that's like an art piece. I would buy that. If that Tebe and Mike album, that album cover was like an artwork, I won't lie, I would buy that artwork. I really like it. I love the tiger, I love the monkey, I love how like it's like a representation of both of the artists, you know, things like that. Like I feel as if artists there should be an art behind album covers, you know. They should, because that's the first thing that we see as consumers of music. That's the first thing that we look at. If an album cover is really incredible, right, I'm already looking forward to listening to it, because the album cover is cool. There's one album cover I remember, I think it was Mike's, from Burning Desire, the album Burning Desire. I think that's one of my favorite album covers of all time. That album cover from Mike, Burning Desire, I'm gonna try to put it here or put it somewhere on the screen. That is one of my favorite album covers ever. And it's such a great album too. So like a great album cover mixed with a great album too. Oh, bro, like album covers just makes us excited to be able to listen to the album. I think that's the way I'm gonna put it. It makes it exciting for us, the consumer, the listeners, to be willing to listen to your music. You know what I mean? So yeah. Yeah, I went on a bit of a tangent right there, talking about album covers, but I feel really passionate about album covers, because I feel as if artists are just half-assing it, and they're not really, you know, paying that much attention to their album covers. Or maybe they are, and their taste in album covers is just poor. I think artists should take more time in perfecting their album covers, so that us, the listeners, can have something to look forward to. When we look at the album cover, we're like, oh damn, look at this album cover. Now I'm even more excited to come and listen to this album. Excuse me, I went on a bit of a tangent there while talking about album covers. It's just that I feel very passionate about them. But yeah, back to Action Bronson and Planet Frog. Very cool album cover. I love the details within the album cover. And one thing I really want to know about like Action Bronson, right? I guess he's on like my bucket list of people that I'd like to interview, or he's on my wish list of the people that I'd like to interview. I just want to know what's the thought process behind the names of the albums and behind the album covers. Because Planet Frog and also the album from last year, the name of the album was Splash Baklava, Splash Provocative Baklava, something like that. And it's such a random name. I guess yeah, that those are the things that I'd want to know. Like what's the reasoning behind, what's the thought process behind the names of the album, what's the thought process behind the actual album covers, because it's very interesting. How did he come up with Planet Frog? What was he thinking? Why are frogs the theme of this album that he's making? You know what I mean? I think that's what attracts me to his music, is the randomness of his music, the randomness of his lyrics, just random bars, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I've been listening to this past week. I'm trying to think of someone else who I've been listening to. Who else have I been listening to? I've been listening to Lucky also. We're getting a Lucky album this coming week, bro. May 15th, we are getting a Lucky album. I'm super excited for it. I've been listening to Gemini. I've been listening to 4 songs that he released that are coming from the album. I've been listening to the pre-EP that he's released before the album. It's kind of like that Travis Scott EP that he didn't release on streaming services, but I think he released it on SoundCloud, called Days Before Rodeo. And Lucky has done the same thing. He's released, I think it's called Days Before Drugs Are Bad. And you know what, bro? The EP was okay. I feel like the EP was just filled with throwaway songs that didn't make the cut to the album. I think the standout songs on that EP are You Ready and Capo 2 Times. You know, the EP is okay. I'm actually not impressed by it. I'm glad that the songs that are on this EP aren't going to be in this album, because, I mean, yeah, they weren't that good. And I love Lucky. I'm one of the people that are like, I love almost all of Lucky's music. I like Gemini. I like Flawless Like Me. I like his new stuff. I didn't like Sex, Money, Drugs. I just think that album was such a forgettable album from Lucky. I had to give a no bias review on this Lucky EP. I do think that the standout feature is Kanye. That guy Kanye. Wow. He had an incredible performance on that EP. He has the best feature for sure out of the 4 songs on there. Not even Lil Yachty has the best feature on that. That was like, I think, to be honest now, I think that Lil Yachty and Lucky feature, that Lil Yachty and Lucky song, that was their worst one. And mind you, I'm a person who loves the Lil Yachty and Lucky combination. I love that feature. I love when they get together. They make great music. One of my favorite songs from the both of them is I Don't Care. So when I saw Lil Yachty as like a feature on that EP, I was like, wow, we're gonna get another Lucky and Lil Yachty banger. But boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong. For me, that's their worst feature. It wasn't great. But yeah, that guy Kanye, he's an incredible artist. I'm glad that Lucky has plugged us with him. And yeah, I'm looking forward to going through that guy's discography too. And of course, while we're in this lead up to Drugs Are Bad by Lucky, I've been listening to Days Before 3. And oh my gosh, bro, that album is so good. That album is so good from Lucky. I think every beat in that album is incredible, which is rare. Imagine every single beat is incredible. Like, the production is so good. Lucky's lyrics is so good. Everything. I think that's such a complete album from Lucky. It might be, I'm not going to say that it's my favorite album from Lucky, because Flawless Like Me is my favorite Lucky album of all time. But that album, Days Before 3, oh my gosh. I miss that Lucky, I won't lie. And I hope that we get that version of Lucky in this album that we're getting this Friday. You know, I'm looking forward to that. And another person that I've been listening to is Michael Jackson. There's this song called Heaven Can't Wait, or Heaven Can Wait, sorry, excuse me. Oh my gosh, bro. That song is so good, bro. That song is so good. I'm looking for my wife. I'm searching for my wife so that I can sing her that song, bro. It's so incredible, bro. It's such a beautiful song. It's such a beautiful love song. That is a song that I hope to serenade my wife with in the future. Call me a romantic. I'm no romantic, but that is a song that I hope to serenade my wife with in the future. And talking about Michael Jackson, pivoting away from music of the week, playlist of the week, let's talk about that Michael Jackson movie, bro. Wow. But before I give you guys my thoughts on the movie, I just want to give you guys my expectations and the things that I was most excited for going into the movie before even watching the movie. One, I wanted to see how they were going to deal with his vitiligo. Like, what happened in the transition from, I know like his vitiligo got really bad and then he had to do what he had to do, you know. So I wanted to see that transition. I think the things that I was most excited for was like the makeup. How were they gonna do the makeup when he had vitiligo? How were they gonna do the makeup with his new nose job? You know what I mean? Because Michael Jackson had multiple nose jobs. He's had like multiple injuries with his face. He's had multiple injuries with his face that had required him to get multiple nose jobs. So I wanted to know, how were they going to deal with like the other multiple nose jobs? Because we know that he got the first nose job because, you know, he was a bit insecure about his nose. So I wanted to see, right after he got his first nose job, the other nose jobs that he was going to do, the other nose jobs that he had done, how were they going to deal with that? You know, I wanted to see the relationship between him and Janet Jackson. These were the expectations that I had going into this movie. I was very excited to see how they were going to handle his romantic life. I wanted to see how they were going to handle, of course, the relationship that he had with Diana Ross. Was it even a relationship? You know what I mean? Was he groomed? But like, those were the things that I was really, really excited for, to see how they were going to navigate that. How were they going to navigate his death? You know, how were they going to get this guy's life all in 2 hours and 30 minutes, or all in 2 hours? How are they going to cram his life all in 2 hours? You know, those are the things that I was very excited for. And then going into the movie, I watched the movie. I thought that the movie was great. I loved the movie. I really did. It felt as if the movie was pandering to a certain Michael Jackson audience, and I am the audience that they were like, you know, that they were targeting. I was the target audience. I loved Michael Jackson growing up. I even remember the day he died, bro. I remember it so vividly. So vividly. It was the last day of school in primary. I forgot what grade I was in. It was 2009. I'm not going to reveal my age. It was in 2009. But like, when he passed away in June, I remember it was the last day of school. I think we got our reports that day too. Back then, my parents weren't picking me up from school, so I was going with transport. Got back home. It was very early. I got back home because, you know, when it's the last day of school in primary, you go back home very early. You know, school comes out at 12 o'clock. I went to go and play with my friends. I watched Dragon Ball Z. Even at 5 o'clock, bro, I watched Dragon Ball Z. And I remember I fell asleep during the Dragon Ball Z episode. And I woke up SABC 2 because that's where they used to play Dragon Ball Z. I'm looking at the news. The news at 6 o'clock is playing. I'm looking at the news and it's like, Michael Jackson passed away. And I'm like, ain't no ways, bro. Ain't no ways, bro. I couldn't believe my eyes, bro. And I think like 20 minutes later, my parents come into the door and I'm looking at them like, yo, Michael Jackson just passed away. And they're like, yeah, we know. How crazy is that, bro? But yeah, I was very heartbroken that one of my favorite artists had passed away, bro. I think Michael Jackson is the first artist that I knew of, for sure, that I for sure knew of. He was the first artist, and he was probably the first and only artist that I knew of and who I could literally recognize from when I was a kid. You know, that's the impact that he had on my life. So I had to watch this movie. And you know, I love this movie, bro. It's such a feel-good movie. It's such a great movie to see the things that Michael Jackson has overcome. And I've got a question for you guys. I've got a question to pose for you guys. Do you think that Michael Jackson would reach the stardom that he did? Would you think that do you guys think that Michael Jackson could be as talented as he became to be if it wasn't for the harsh parenting or the aggressive parenting of his father? Could he have reached that level with like careful, cautionary parenting? Because I'm sure Michael Jackson, when he was a kid, right, he wanted to hang out with other kids. He wanted to do kid stuff, but he was forced to practice with his brothers. He was forced to practice routines, practice his singing, perfect his dancing, perfect this, perfect literally molding him into the perfect artist. Could he have achieved that? Could he have achieved all of those things if it wasn't for the parenting of his father? I'm very curious. I really want to know what you guys think in the comments. Could he have reached that point? I don't know. And I don't want to even think about that. Although yes, his father put him through a traumatic experience during that time, would he have became MJ? Would he have been Michael Jackson, the guy that's making people faint? Would he have become that if it wasn't for that type of parenting? That's a big what if. But like, I'm just grateful for the Michael Jackson that we got. Although it's a Michael Jackson that has a lot of trauma, he probably had a lot of pain. He probably couldn't go outside. He probably doesn't know what it. I don't think Michael Jackson ever knew what it was like or what it could have been like to be a regular human being like us, because he was a star from since he was a kid. So I'm just very curious. Michael Jackson with a childhood, could he have achieved the things that he went on to achieve? Could he have been as great as he had been if it wasn't like for the implementation of hard work that his father had implemented in him? Yes, Michael Jackson was very talented, but that hard work made his talent even bigger. It made him even a bigger star. He was such a driven person. And I'm glad that that was shown in the movie, that, you know what, yes, his dad was driving him to become the best. His dad was driving the Jackson 5 to be the best. And I guess because, you know what, they just wanted to get out of the hood. That drive for Michael Jackson to be the best, the affirmations that he has on the wall, his negotiations to get his music videos to be played on MTV back when they didn't play any black artists on MTV, like his drive to be the best, his drive to want to be a solo artist. And it was so beautiful to see that on the movie. You know, young Michael Jackson, wow, the actor that played young Michael Jackson was so adorable, bro. I'm like, damn, I'm not ready to have kids yet, but like, my gosh, look at this kid, bro. He's so cute. Even he's dancing, the way he was dancing too. Oh, it was such a great movie. The guy that was acting as Michael Jackson's nephew, he was great too. Wow. It felt like I was watching Michael, bro. There was times in the movie where I had to blink multiple times and be like, damn, is that really Michael Jackson, bro? Is that really Michael Jackson? Because he killed that role, bro. He killed it. I wouldn't be surprised if he got nominated for an Oscar next year, because he, like, the character work, and to think this is his first serious role. This is his first role where he's the main star of this movie. And he just kills it. He kills it. He has like an incredible performance. It felt very eerie. It felt like, damn, this Michael Jackson is a bit too perfect. This feels as if I'm watching Michael Jackson. Even his voice, even the dance moves, even the singing was incredible. Like, I know that this guy, Michael Jackson's nephew, he's a singer himself. You know, he's not an actor. Like, he's not a full-time actor. He's a singer. He's an artist himself. And for him to be able to perfect all of Michael Jackson's songs and perfectly recreate that was chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. But yeah, going into the disappointment, I think it was pretty disappointing that we didn't get Janet Jackson, who I think, of course, like, she didn't have like a fundamental part in, like, a very important part in Michael Jackson's career, but like, it would have been nice for her to be in the movie. She's a very important part of the Jacksons, and you know what, I respect her decision not to be in the film, but it was disappointing that she wasn't in the film. I was disappointed that it didn't cover all the other aspects of Michael's life too, but I understand. I think that they're aiming to do a sequel, which makes sense because Michael Jackson's career is so long, and it's so long that you can't put it all into one 2-hour movie. So it does make sense if there is going to be a sequel to this movie, but I was disappointed that, like, hey, this movie only stops with Michael's career at 1989, you know. Another thing that I was also disappointed by with the movie is that they weren't covering anything new about Michael Jackson. Like, the movie just covered the things that us fans, people who are like diehard Michael Jackson fans, already knew about Michael Jackson. That's why I said earlier on that it felt as if the movie was pandering to a certain Michael Jackson audience. The movie didn't cover anything new about Michael Jackson. These are experiences that we already knew of. These were experiences in the public eye. We knew that Michael Jackson was physically abused when he was a kid. We knew that he wanted to become a solo artist. We just didn't know how it happened. And we knew that his hair caught on fire. We knew that, like, he had to go through a nose surgery. He had to, these are things that we knew of. That's my only gripe with the movie, is that they didn't cover anything new that we didn't know of, or any insider knowledge about Michael Jackson, which is understandable, because it's very hard to make a movie on a person who's not alive anymore, because he can't give you, hey, this is what happened. He can't say this is what happened, this is what didn't happen. You just have to go by he say and she say, this is what they said, so I guess that's what happened. I guess, yeah, his siblings, but also at the same time, when Michael was alone, his siblings weren't always there. His bodyguard wasn't always there. So I guess that's why they had to leave it to them, covering only like the things that was known by the public, only the things that they knew on Michael, because they weren't there 100% of the time. The only person that was there with Michael Jackson 100% of the time was Michael Jackson. He was the only person that was there with himself 100% of the time. That's why I'm saying that it wasn't a big disappointment. It wasn't a big gripe that some of those things weren't included. Some insider knowledge that we didn't know about wasn't included in the movie. The guy that this movie is based on is not alive anymore, so he can't give you that insider knowledge on himself. You know what I mean? But yeah, overall, it's a very good movie. I'm looking forward to a sequel. I hope that there is a sequel, because I was very curious at the beginning, before even watching this movie, how were they going to cover all of Michael Jackson's life, his long-standing career? The guy was like, dude, he had a career for like 40 plus years, and he passed away when he was like 50. He had a career for like 42 years straight. Imagine, bro. So trying to get 42 years in one movie, it was all going to be impossible. I like that they're handling this in a manner that, like, hey, this is going to be a sequel. There's going to be multiple movies of Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to that sequel. I'm looking forward to how they handle his next part of his life, like the court cases, the things that he went through with Never Neverland, the things that, that he went through with Vitiligo. I want to see how they're going to handle, how is the makeup going to be? I think that's one of the things that I'm very curious about. How is the prosthetics going to be? How's the makeup going to be in the next couple of movies, And that's another thing. Shout out to the makeup team of that movie, because the makeup was incredible. Like, it was actually so incredible, the makeup that they did for Michael Jackson, the makeup that they did for Joseph, for Joseph. The performances were great. Nia Long, she was great as Michael Jackson's mother. And yeah, overall great movie, guys. But yeah, onto football, guys. Football is the reason why I'm sad. If you ever see me sad, just know that it's football's fault, bro. It's always football's fault that I'm sad. Where should we even start? Should we start with Real Madrid? Should we start with Manchester United? Or should we start with Kaizer Chiefs basically giving the league to Orlando Pirates? I know we couldn't prevent it, but we've been so poor this season. Kaizer Chiefs has been so poor this season, bro. The teams that I support have been so poor this season. Manchester United, okay, fair that we are finishing, I don't know, will we finish third? There's 2 games left. Will we finish third? Mathematically, it's not guaranteed yet that we're gonna finish third, but we have guaranteed we've gotten Champions League, and I'm very happy that we got Champions League. So I'm gonna spare the criticism for Manchester United. They haven't been as bad, but like also at the same time they finished third. But finishing third compared to last season where we finished 15th, that's a massive achievement. The fact that we got Champions League this year, I'm very happy about that. My expectations for the season, I wanted us to win the league, bro. Every United fan should have the expectation for us to win the league every single season, bro, irregardless of what happened in the previous season, because that is the expectation of Manchester United. That is the criteria for Manchester United, is them winning the league. That should be a goal for the players. It should be a goal for us as fans, for us to win the league, not just to win trophies and finish 4th or finish 2nd or anything like that. No, we should have the expectation for us to win the league. So yeah, let's touch on Manchester United. This past weekend we drew against Sunderland, and oh my gosh, I won't lie, we were very, very lucky to draw with Sunderland, bro. We had no Casemiro, we had no Benjamin Sesko, so we were Dalot was not in the lineup, so I guess that, I don't know. So we had Mazraoui playing there at right back. We had Luke Shaw playing there at left back. We had Lisandro Martinez, who's back from his 3-game suspension for pulling Calvert-Lewin's hair. Maguire was there also. the midfield was the big problem in this game. I won't lie. Mason Mount, Kobe Mainoo, and Bruno Fernandes. I won't lie. When it comes to that midfield, right? That midfield is not strong enough, bro. That midfield is not strong enough. It's very weak. It's not aggressive. Hence why they were losing all of the challenges, all of the battles that were in that midfield. They were losing all of them because we had Mason Mount, Kobe Mainoo, and Bruno. We didn't have an aggressive midfielder like Casemiro that could help us. It ended up being a terrible performance. I think that was our worst performance this season. This was, I think, one of 4 games where we went goalless this season, which is crazy because we've been scoring goals a lot. United has scored the 3rd most goals in the Premier League season this year. And for us to not create any chances in that game against Sunderland or any clear-cut chances, our first shot on target came in like the 85th minute with that Cunha shot, which he should have scored, by the way. But yeah, United, I'll give them an A for effort this season. The fact that they managed to finish 3rd from the previous season, where they finished 15th, was like, that's a miracle. I won't lie, that's a huge miracle. So I'm giving them an A for effort for this season. Let's talk about Michael Carrick now. I'm very grateful for Michael Carrick for getting us Champions League this year. I'm very grateful for the results that he's helped us with this season. But again, I'm not fully sure that Michael Carrick is the right guy. I think, personally, my preference for manager would be Iraola. I want Iraola at Manchester United, but Iraola looks like he's going to Crystal Palace. I heard that Crystal Palace and Iraola are close to agreeing terms, so I guess that's ruling out Iraola. Either way, he said he wanted to be in London. I just didn't think that Crystal Palace was the place that he would go. You know, I thought that Chelsea would be the place that he would go, but it looks like Chelsea is going for Cesc Fabregas, who's done an incredible job at Como, by the way. He has performed. He's taken that team from literally from the second division. I think he's taken them from the second division of Serie A, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Serie B? He took them from Serie B to Serie A, and now from Serie A he took them to the Champions League next season, bro. So he's done an incredible job. Shout out to him and the work that he's done there. But yeah, Michael Carrick, the results have been great and I'm super duper grateful, and I'm so happy that we beat our biggest rivals this season, and I'm happy that the results have been incredible, and I'm happy that he's gotten us to Champions League. But the performance of the team has not been great, bro. But I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's coming in the middle of the season. He's had to put everything down to come and coach United and to help us. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that, with a full preseason with the squad, with a full season with the squad, maybe the performances will just be better. I'm just gonna choke off that, hey, the performances haven't been great under Michael Carrick is because he came in the middle of a season. We finished 15th last season because Ruben Amorim came in the middle of the season. This year, Michael Carrick has come in the middle of the season and we finished 3rd. That's incredible. That's incredible. So credit to him. All respect to Michael Carrick. I think he's deserving of the job. He got us Champions League, so he's deserving of the job. But I'm just very critical of the performances. I just don't think that the performances have been great. That performance against Sunderland really left a sour taste in my mouth. We could have done better. We could have been better. But yet again, who is he going to play in midfield? Those were literally all the options that he has. So I can't even criticize him on that and say, oh yeah, his squad, the way he's picked the squad hasn't been great, when those are only the players that we have available for us. Those are the only players. That's our first team, bro. De Ligt is out. Casemiro's out. Sesko was out. Mbumo's not having a great season after AFCON. Yes, his season was great before AFCON, but after AFCON, he hasn't been performing really well. Ahmad also, he hasn't been performing really well this whole season. Even after AFCON, he's been worse this season after AFCON. So I think, yeah, Ahmad is one of the players that he needs a preseason this year. But I hope he rests, and I hope that he puts in the same amount of work that Kobe Mainoo put in the preseason last season or earlier this season for this season. I hope he puts in that much work because Kobe was working during the preseason before this season. He was working. And I hope that Ahmad will do the same. I hope that Mbumo will do the same. I can't remember if Cameroon and Cote d'Ivoire are in the World Cup, but if they are not, I hope that these players can rest. They must rest. They must prepare for next season, because I feel as if next season is gonna be a big season for us. We need new midfielders also. We need to that game on Sunday that game on Saturday should show the board how much we need reinforcement in the midfield. I heard that we're working on a deal for Edison, that player at Atalanta. He's a good player. I think that he's not a replacement for Casemiro. He's not a first choice replacement for Casemiro. He's not a second choice replacement for Casemiro. He's not even the third choice replacement for Casemiro. I think he's a first choice alternative to Kobe Mainu. If Kobe Mainu's out, or if Kobe Mainu's given a rest, I think that Edison is the person to replace Kobe Mainu, or is a Kobe Mainu alternative for if Kobe Mainu's not playing. I don't think he's a Casemiro replacement at all. I think that for this season we at least need 3 midfielders. I think we should get Tchouaméni. If we're getting Edison, I'm okay with that. But also at the same time, we need to get like someone else, maybe like Stiller, or get someone like Matheus Fernandes from West Ham, who he's been having an incredible season too. So I think if West Ham get relegated this season, I want 3 players from them. I want Diouf, I want Somerville, and I want Matheus Fernandes. So if we can get Matheus Fernandes as one of the 3 people that's going to replace Casemiro in midfield, to be honest, I think we need 4 players for midfield, bro. I genuinely do believe so. We need a Kobe Mainu alternative. We need 3 players that are going to replace Casemiro. And for me, personally, the 3 players that I would want to replace Casemiro is Tchouaméni, Matheus Fernandes from West Ham. And you know what? The third player, I wouldn't mind if it was Wharton. I would have liked if it was João Gomez from Wolves. But hey, it looks like João Gomez is going to Atletico Madrid now. But yeah, that's United. Let's talk about Real Madrid now. What is happening at Real Madrid, guys? Like, seriously, what is happening at Real Madrid? My club is in shambles, bro. Yo. Where do we even start, bro? You've got a captain like Carvajal, who's on the bench. He's injured. Apparently, he's injured. Who's on the bench? He's mocking Trent Alexander-Arnold. A captain is mocking their teammate. A captain. I've never seen this in my life, bro. And now the vice captain, Valverde, getting into fights in the changing room, accusing Tchouaméni of something that he doesn't even have the proof of. He thinks that Tchouaméni that Tchouaméni was the one that was leaking things to the press. This whole situation with Valverde and Tchouaméni is just so crazy. I don't think I've ever seen something like this before, bruh. Where teammates fight, With what happened with Tchouaméni and Valverde on the first day, now, Fede, they're making crunching tackles, they're arguing, they're fighting. There's no fighting with fists, That happens all the time in a football pitch. That happens all the time in a dressing room. Let me say that. That happens all the time. It's nothing new. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Those are things that we grow to expect. But it's just that we never hear of them. Those are the things that never get to the media. Sure, them arguing, fighting, fine. I like that. That's cool. Fights in a dressing room are healthy because it shows that everyone cares. It shows that everyone cares about winning. But now when we are holding grudges, and now the fight escalates and it boils over to the next day, and then the fight turns physical, the argument turns physical, like Valverde couldn't let it go. Even though Tchouaméni tried to reconcile with Valverde, but he couldn't let it go, to the point now it gets physical. It shouldn't even get to that point, bro. What is happening with that team? And now we have Mbappe. It's not even just the club alone. It's the fans too. Us fans, we are just as trash. Us Real Madrid fans, we are just as trash. What's going on with this petition with Mbappe? There's over 30 million signatures to get Mbappe out of Real Madrid. As fans, what's going on, bruh? What's going on? What's going on, Oaks? What's with all this hate from Mbappe? I don't get the hate from Mbappe, because Mbappe to me has been great this season. Yes, he's been injury prone, but the guy has over 40 goals for us this season. He's been phenomenal. I don't get what's the problem. I really want to know what's the fans' problem with Mbappe. And I don't want you guys to talk about, he got injured and then he went on vacation. All the other players have been doing that. Militao got injured earlier this season and he went on vacation. I just feel as if Mbappe has just been a scapegoat at Real Madrid. Like, yes, it's his fault. That's why we've been so cuck. But no, it's the whole team's fault. That's why we've been so cuck. But yeah, this whole experiment of Vinny and Mbappe to see if they can play together, that is over. One of them has to leave, and I won't lie, I've gotten to the point where I'm happy with either one of them leaving this season. I'm happy with either one of them leaving. I'm happy if Vinny leaves, as long as Mbappe stays, and I'm happy if I'm happy if Vinny stays and Mbappe leaves. Like, I really am truly happy at this point, because both of them cannot play together. Or it's either you bench one, which is like impossible. You can never bench Mbappe and you can never bench Vinny. But me, if we were to go off of preference, I'd prefer to stay with Mbappe, because Vinny's attitude this season hasn't been great. He's throwing his hands up in the air when he gets substituted. He says, why always me? I don't get it. What's going on, Vinny? Are you angry that you're not getting your new contract? Are you angry that you're not getting the money that you think that you deserve from Florentino Perez with your new contract? I don't get it. Are you okay, bro? You know? What's going on? I won't lie, nah. I would take a Vinny at United, but I think that Vinny would ruin the dynamic at United. I think us getting Vinny, or even us getting Mbappe at United, would kind of be like the Cristiano Ronaldo signing when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was still there. It would ruin the dynamic of the team. But like, yeah, I think either one of those players heads need to roll this summer, bro. Heads need to roll. Sure, Manny, I'd love to accept you at Manchester United, bro. I know it wasn't your fault, you know. Oh, I know it wasn't your fault. You weren't like the instigator. You were being instigated against, you know. Valverde was the instigator. He was the one that was pushing you. I get that, you know. But he's the vice captain, so I expect him to stay. I'm bitterly disappointed in Valverde's behavior, bro. I'm so disappointed in Valverde's behavior. This is not the way that a vice captain should be conducting themselves, bro. Or this is not the way that vice captains should even be conducting themselves around the club. Valverde shouldn't be the one that's picking the fights there as the vice captain. He should be the peacemaker in that dressing room. That's so disappointing, because Valverde was one of my favorite Real Madrid players. He gave it his all. He would fight for the badge, and I think that his passion and love and pride for Real Madrid got the better of him, and that's the reason why that he got into this fight with Tchouaméni. I think it's because he cares. It's not because he just wanted to pick a fight. It's because he cares. He really loves this team. He really wanted to know who was leaking the things to the press. I don't think it's Tchouaméni. I don't think it was Tchouaméni. I think it might be Carvajal. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Ceballos. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Alvaro Carreras, who also apparently he has an attitude problem too. He hasn't been playing because he's got an attitude problem. He got in a fight with Rudiger, and Rudiger slapped him. Again, Rudiger, another one who's a hothead. I think he needs to go too this season, bro. I think I'd be happy with most of the squad leaving, bro. I won't lie. I'd be super happy. The only person that should stay at Real Madrid is Thibaut Courtois. He should be the captain of Real Madrid, for sure. Although Courtois has been injured this season, he's by far our best player. He's been our best player this season. He's been keeping us in games. And I think that he should be the leader. He's the only leading figure that we have in that dressing room, because Carvajal is not a leader. Valverde, with what he's done this past week to Tchouaméni, he's not a leader too, bruh. He's not deserving. He's not deserving to be a leader at Real Madrid. We have no leaders at Real Madrid. And now we want to bring in Jose Mourinho. This could either go really bad, or this could end up going really good. I don't think there's a middle with Jose Mourinho. And bringing in Jose Mourinho as kind of like a disciplinarian for the squad it's crazy. But I guess there's a method to Florentino's madness. There's a method to his madness, bro. And we'll have to wait and see next season how everything is gonna unfold. But I do think that players need to leave this year, bro. You've got young players at Real Madrid who have attitude problems. The ego has gotten into their heads. That's crazy. This is not how the biggest team should be conducting themselves. So I'm bitterly disappointed in Real Madrid this season. The firing of Xabi Alonso hasn't been great. People like Vinny Jr. with attitude problems. He feels he's got the ego of Cristiano Ronaldo, but he doesn't have the same talent as Cristiano Ronaldo. And yes, Vinny's very talented, but my goodness, bro. But yeah, my team has been very poor this season. Real Madrid has just been shambolic this season. Barcelona, deserving champions, they are on track to reaching 100 points, which is the most amount of points since, I forgot which manager was it, but like this is the last time since, I think the last team to reach 100 points for La Liga was Barcelona in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it Real Madrid in 2013 with Jose Mourinho? I think it was Real Madrid in 2012, and 2013 it was Barcelona. Yes, I think Barcelona was the last team to reach 100 points in La Liga, and for them to be able to do that, for them to be on track to reach 100 points is very deserving for them. Hansi Flick has been incredible this season. Lamine Yamal is the MVP for this season. He's the best player in La Liga this season, arguably the best player in the world. I hope he can make it into the World Cup. Rafinha, he's missed a lot of games with injuries, but he's been an incredible player when he's been playing and when he's been available. Rashford has over 26 goals and assists for Barcelona, which is an incredible, it's an incredible season for a lone player. Are they gonna sign him? I would personally welcome back Rashford at Manchester United. I know a lot of fans and a lot of people would not accept Rashford at Manchester United, and that's okay. But me personally, I would gladly and I would happily accept Rashford at Manchester United. I wouldn't mind if he wore the number 7 shirt too and took it away from Mason Mount. Barcelona, very deserving champions. And condolences to Hansi Flick after he lost his dad in the early hours of Sunday morning. He has done an incredible job this season. And for them to beat Real Madrid at the Camp Nou, not only to solidify and to guarantee them winning the league title, but like for him to do that, it takes a lot of strength. And shout out to the Barcelona players for playing well for him. And I'm sure it was very hard for him to do that, for him to be able to coach an El Clasico after he just lost his dad. So shout out to Hansi Flick for that. Now, speaking of the El Clasico, Barcelona 2, Real Madrid 0. Real Madrid offered nothing in that match. They were literally just passengers. It's like we laid down and we allowed Barcelona to have their way with us. Barcelona had multiple chances and it looked like 2-0 at halftime. I was like, damn, this could be an ugly score, bro. And Rashford missed the one-on-one opportunity. He needs to work on that, bro. I think if Rashford wants to stay at Barcelona, he needs to work on taking those chances that he has, or taking those chances that he's been given. He had an incredible free kick. Shout out to him. That Ferran Torres goal was incredible too. Like, top corner, great play, and just, yeah, Barcelona played well. They didn't even need to get out of third gear, bro. Barcelona were in third gear. They didn't need to get into fourth gear because Real Madrid were that poor. Real Madrid just sat there and they allowed Barcelona to have their way with them. That is arguably this is arguably one of the worst Real Madrid performances of a season that I've ever seen, bro. This is arguably one of the worst Real Madrid squads that I've ever seen. Mind you, I only started supporting Real Madrid in 2014 because of FIFA 14. I really loved FIFA 14 and I liked playing with Real Madrid on FIFA 14. So that's when I started supporting Real Madrid. I can say now, in the 12 years that I've been watching Real Madrid consistently, this is the worst Real Madrid squad ever that I've seen. I don't know before, like all the Real Madrid fans, you guys can tell me what you guys think of this Real Madrid squad, but this is the worst Real Madrid squad of all time, in my opinion. Even the Galacticos, yes, they had big egos, but they put the team first. This team, they put the individuals first. And I'm blaming Florentino Perez for that. He puts the individuals first ahead of the team. That's why he fired Xabi Alonso, even though he had like a 70+ win rate. He fired Xabi Alonso. Like, yeah, he's the problem and not the players. A second season with no trophies, and heads need to roll, bro. People need to leave. We need to rebuild the squad. And you know what? As As nervous I am for having Mourinho be the one to build the squad, I'm very excited to see, because it could either go one way or the other with Jose Mourinho. There's no in between. So I'm looking forward to see how Real Madrid will be under Jose Mourinho. I'm looking forward to see what will be our first starting lineup next season. We need a striker. We need a right winger. I told you guys, right wingers, go for Olise. Real Madrid, go for Olise for right winger. Please, bro. Please. Please, trust me. Trust me. He's incredible. Striker, go for Haaland. Go get Haaland. And either way on left wing, you guys make a decision there. Either you keep Kylian Mbappe or you keep Vinicius Jr., bro. Either one. I don't care. The midfield needs to be revamped too. Build the midfield around Jude Bellingham, please. Trust me. He's the only one I feel like that gives a shit. Or, sorry, he's the only one that's giving it his all on the pitch. Tchouaméni, I know he's probably gonna leave too. So I'd gladly welcome Tchouaméni at Manchester United. I'd be happy. I'd be super happy. But yeah, that's it for football talk. That's it for this episode. Thank you guys for joining us. But yeah, next episode, Vivid will be back. I can't wait for that episode too. I can't wait to record that episode too. Make sure to like, comment, share. My name is Richard Manigenas Pretty Boy Rory. This is RTV Reality TV podcast, and we are out.